Today on Crazed Performance Repair, we are bringing you an episode on head gasket preparation. I'm simply doing this because I know a lot of people hear a lot of bad things related to gaskets and preparation as far as whizzing wheels and all that stuff. So stay tuned and we'll get right to it. Okay, so you can see I have a newer Chevy pickup here. It's 2008, I believe, so not new, but newish. And but it's an LS-based engine. I don't know if this is LQ. No, it's not LQ9 because that's an iron block. I don't know which model it is, but regardless, it's a V8 aluminum block, iron sleeve, and it has these goofy ports for the displacement on demand on this vehicle. There is a lot of people that use different tools, different things, different techniques to prepare head gaskets, and a lot of times people damage the engine because of the way that they prepare head gasket surfaces. And I'm going to go over the proper techniques preparing for replacing a head gasket or doing any kind of gasket surface preparation, especially when dealing with internal components of an engine, because you don't want to get debris inside of an engine. Okay, so you can see here I have the surface of the deck. I have this surface of the block for what's called a valley plate that goes here. In this case, it's a VLOM. In some of the motors without displacement on demand, it's just a cover plate and that's it. Now, these two surfaces have already been prepared, and I've done a couple different things on here. So this one is utilizing just this, and that's it. This one here, well, I did wipe it down a little bit with a rag, a dry cloth. Now this one here, I used this, and I used a cloth with some brake clean, and then I kind of cleaned around the edges here. And then I also took one cylinder, and only one cylinder, because I wanted to show if you were to try and go above and beyond on cleaning your engine up. But this one here, I also used this guy on the surface of the piston here. These sharp corners can gouge into the corner. You can see I have a little bit of debris right here. That's because I was trying to be cautious not to get too close to the edge when I was running this thing around. I hold my finger like that, and I just kind of drag it around in a circle like that. You can see the line right here from me going around, and then I do the same thing on the other side and just kind of drag it around, and then the middle I just kind of do that, and I vacuum it out with a vacuum cleaner. Now, this is a above and beyond, not necessary method to go ahead and clean the tops of the pistons unless you see a lot of carbon. Now you can see that one there, all that stuff that comes off. I mean, that's just a simple, quick pass, and it comes off really quick. Now I have to vacuum that off. I'm going to go ahead, since I started this one here. I don't want to leave it just halfway as clean. Okay, clean enough, aside from having to vacuum it out. Now when you're cleaning these surfaces, we're going to do that one in a minute here, but I wanted to go over something first. There is a lot of people who believe different things are okay to use on an engine, like a wire wheel here, okay? So this wire wheel, they believe this is okay because it's not going to gouge the metal or whatever. It's just going to clean the dirt off. Well, that's a completely wrong theory. It will damage the metal, especially aluminum. These are stainless steel wheels usually, and if they're not stainless steel, they're steel. And those wires will damage the material underlying it because this material is not harder by much, if any at all, than the material this is made out of. And in this case, being aluminum, it's definitely much softer. This is going to cause low spots on the cylinder head or cylinder block. Also, these little wires, they can come off. I shouldn't even have it over the motor. These little wires can come off and end up inside the motor or wedged alongside the piston ring or anything like that. So this is a very, very bad thing to use. Never ever use a wire wheel on an internal engine component. A lot of people will use something like this little tool here, an air tool with a sanding disc or one of those Scotch-Brite pads on here. This is called a roll-lock disc. You see it's got this little deal, threaded deal there, and it spins on into place. These are horrible for engines. Not only can the sand material that's on here come off, even on the Scotch-Brite style pads, not only can that material come off and go internally into the engine, but it also creates low spots. That's a big, big no-no. Then people started using these when these came out. This is also a roll lock as well. See, it just goes right on there. And it's got these little plastic fingers. These little plastic fingers have a grit in them. Now this is a green, so this is a little more aggressive and is definitely a big no-no on aluminum surfaces for sure. Even iron surfaces, it will create slight low spots, and I don't recommend using them whatsoever. This is definitely not something I would do. And then we have the final candidate here. Now there's a yellow one as well. That's I don't remember if the yellow is more or less aggressive than the green, but this guy here is the one that 3M claims is okay to use on a surface like this, but I highly advise, again, against this. Once again, it's a spinning disc, and if you hesitate for 1 second in one spot, you're going to create a very small low spot. Now, you can see I've pretty much condemned every option there is for a roll lock or for any kind of power tool being used. Now, the core reason I condemned any rotating item is because not only of the low spots that it will create, but all you need to use is something like a carbide scraper just like this. When these things were released, these were a godsend for me because I hated those discs. They scared me. I was always worried I was going to toss a bearing from throwing ground up material and so forth into the motor. You can see this side here is not prepared at all. That's because I want to show you what it's going to look like while I'm going ahead and scraping it. So I'm going to just go ahead, and now when I scrape, this part is internal on the motor. This gets blown out the exhaust pipe. These are cooling passages. These are bolt holes. The bolt holes have not been blown out yet. That's another thing you need to do when you prepare for putting the head gasket in, is make absolutely certain these holes are cleaned out when you're done before you put the bolts in. So you can see this passage here. I'm going to try and avoid getting any material in it. Look at the angle I have the scraper. I am making sure that I am pushing it away from that hole. And then I always wipe this off before I apply the scraper again. And I usually try and do 2 passes per section of gasket area. So I basically try and cover the thing twice with a scraper. I'm seeing some marks on here. I'm not sure if somebody has had this apart and used a whiz wheel, but this thing will definitely show the evidence of if a whiz wheel has been used or not, because it'll highlight all the high points and low points. Now, when using a scraper like this, one thing you want to be sure of is that you don't gouge the metal. And by that, I'm going to do it on purpose, but I'm going to do it over here where it doesn't matter. Okay? So I just clean this surface up. Now, from here over this direction, there is no sealing surface whatsoever. The gasket doesn't even touch it. That's why I'm going to do it right here. But if you apply a bunch of pressure in one spot, watch what happens. Now, you see this little mark here? That is a peeling of metal. So it literally just gouged into here. Now that was an extreme version, but basically the non-extreme version of that is you're going along and you're scraping like this, and you come over to this corner and you gouge right here. Doesn't matter again. But if you do that on a spot that does matter, you're going to create one hell of a problem. So you got to be careful with these two. But at least these aren't throwing sand all over inside the engine. And because of that, you're not going to cause a problem. And furthermore, with this style of scraper, it's a perfectly machined flat edge. So being a perfectly machined flat edge, you're actually going to end up with a finished product that is smoother than the factory, which, if you haven't noticed yet, you can see the factory machine lines as I go over it with this tool. There, you see this right here? See those lines that are kind of showing up like this? Now that's from their giant rotary cutter that's coming across the deck surface. Those are the high spots left over from the factory cutter. So by using this, I'm actually making it a smoother surface than what it was from the factory. So now, you notice I just went this direction. Now I'm also going to go this direction, so I'm basically cutting the deck surface at a different angle to make sure that I knock off any high spots that are there that may have been left from the factory or from somebody else putzing with this thing, whatever the case. So there you have it. This section over to here is finished with the cleaning or flat cleaning of the surface. These little dirty areas are not contacted with the gasket as far as a seal. The only sealing spots are wherever you see these clean areas, because that's where the surface of the gasket has extra tension on it. Now, this is all the cleaner it needs to be. I could technically blow these holes out, bolt the head on with a new head gasket, it'd be good to go. But I always take a rag anyway. Well, obviously I'd have to blow that out too, but I always take a rag anyway. I give it some brake clean. I use that brake clean to further clean up the surface, which again isn't fully necessary, but I do it anyway. And in fact, I'm doing this too early, to be honest, because I need to blow those holes out yet. But I just want to show you what this looks like after I go ahead and wipe it down with brake clean. Okay, so now I have it wiped down with brake clean, and you can see there's not much of a difference. I mean, maybe a little bit of dirt came off of where these iron sleeves are, but aside from that, it's really not much different. And now this part, exclude that side because I'm not going to do that on camera. This part is prepared for a gasket and almost prepared for head bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and blow those out so you guys can see that. So here's what I use. It's just a air nozzle. I stick it all the way down in the hole as far as I can. And I give that guy a little blast like that. And I do that on all of the head bolt holes. And I also will do it on these holes like this, because a lot of times sand and debris ends up in there. And when you do that, it blows it everywhere. Now, these two were fine because they're going to blow outside of the vehicle. This one was a little sketchy. I heard it hit this hose, so that debris ends up in here, and along with these, so I'm not going to blow these out until I get some rags tucked into these holes here. And then I will also take and use the air to blow around the ring area. You can see all that moisture that's coming out of there from when I pulled the head off. And I'm also going to take, which I have on this side here, this hose like this, shove it down in the bottom of the cooling water jacket area, and then I use my air nozzle and I go at it at an angle about like that, and it'll create a draft that will suck the coolant to this end, and as long as this end is lower than the bottom of the block, then it will allow a siphon effect to take place, and I can drain out the block, which I already did on that side. I still have to do it on this side, but with that in mind, you can imagine it's pretty straightforward. It's really not that complicated, and to go as far as cleaning it all the way to the point of making the surface shiny is totally uncalled for, totally unnecessary. In fact, it's more damaging to have it shiny via a whiz wheel than it is to just have it flat via a scraper. If you do not have a super scraper, you can use a razor blade, but be very cautious. The razor blade flexes, and if you're doing it on aluminum, it can get pretty hairy. I mean, you can easily leave a gouge by accident with a razor blade. This is a lot easier, and I'll go ahead and throw a link down in the description below for these. I'll throw a few different sizes up there. I have a larger one than this. This one is the standard size that they first came out with a long time ago. Now there's a bunch of companies offering them, and there's a smaller size too that's about half of this, and I have that one as well. But these things are the cat's meow. They're awesome for gaskets. They do just a phenomenal job, and for head gasket preparation, it is by far the way to go. You're going to have a lot less chance of causing an issue with the vehicle. With that, be sure to hit that like button. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, I hope to see you on another future video very soon. Thanks for watching.